I messed up the intro, but welcome back to Not So Pro Football Talk as we come into another OverReaction Monday. I know the national championship is going on right now, and that's where our eyes want to be also, but we have a duty and a responsibility to give the NFL news to NSP Nation. Am I right, Vincent?
Heck yeah, baby, and that's why we're here.
Yes, sir. We are happy to be here this Overreaction Monday, and I'm feeling extra happy because my Green Bay Packers, who every single person counted them out. I even partially counted them out. I said this was their absolute ceiling. I think I said it at the beginning, the beginning of the preseason. I was like, the absolute ceiling for this team is 9-8 and to barely make the 7th seed of the playoffs. I was like, that is their ceiling, and they were able to hit the ceiling this year. Absolutely, I feel so happy, honestly, right now with the Packers making that playoff spot. I did not expect this. Especially with how the defense has been playing, I thought the defense was going to carry us this along the way because of how many rookies and inexperienced players are on our offense, and Jordan Love going into his first year starting. I'm flabbergasted. I'm amazed, and I'm just over the moon. And we still own the Chicago Bears, and that just feels great. It feels great to shut up all the Bears fans and make them go back into their spiral of we are going to suck for the next 5 to 10 years. It feels great. Vince, I know you are kind of feeling good because your team did come off of a win, but you needed the Packers loose in order to make the playoffs. How do you feel about the Seahawks overall season? At 9-8, I believe that the 9-8 was your final record, which is a respectable record, but not up to the standard that I bet you were hoping for. How are you feeling about the Seahawks, and are you looking to make any changes? I heard whispers of Pete Carroll moving on. That you're probably going to draft Geno's replacement this offseason. How are you feeling about the Seahawks right now?
So right now with the Seahawks, the thing I think we really need to address is defense, but I don't think it's too much of the players. We have a lot of guys that are staple points at safety position, cornerback position. We have some defensive linemen now that we traded for that we're going to have to sign this offseason. But I think we have all the guys there that we need to make a good middle-of-the-pack defense. And, of course, if we draft more guys that hit, even better. But I think it has to change with the defensive coordinator there. Clint Hurt, he's good, but I feel like he gets overruled by Pete Carroll a lot with that zone type of defense, and I feel like it kills us. We're just not a zone type of defense. We have guys who are good rushers and guys who can play better man, but I feel like we get put in situations where we go zone and it just falls apart. Offensively, I like the way we looked. We need to get DK Metcalf the ball more. Maybe get another wide receiver to, go in and out with Tyler Lockett there, or maybe even another tight end since we saw some great tight ends come out of this past draft. I feel like we could use another tight end who is another guy to get some wide receiver depth out there and more targets. But other than that, I feel like we're good going into next season. But I do think there needs to be some issue there with Pete Carroll. I don't think he needs to be fired, but I think he needs to get checked a little bit, whether that's from the owner or the GM there in Seattle, or just getting, some more coaches that hold him a little bit more accountable that are under him. So I feel like there just needs to be some changes overall in the coaching. That's all I think.
All right. I like it. Liam is in the chat. He was here earlier. He was saying "Go Blue, baby." He's a Michigan fan, and they are steamrolling Washington right now. That running game is tearing Washington apart. It is bad. But he says, how about them Chargers securing pick number 5? Hey, I'm glad that you can be happy about something, Liam, coming out of the season. It was not a good year for the Chargers when everybody thought they would at least be playoff bound, be better than the Steelers of all people. But definitely disappointing season. But hey, you gotta look towards the future. You gotta look to the the positive things. But Liam, since you're in the chat right now, I want to hear you as a Chargers fan. Who do you want as your new head coach? Because you did move on from Brandon Staley, and I wanted this to be anybody, even people who are not currently available, aka Bill Belichick. So go ahead and put that in the comments. I'd love to see who you want as your new head coach. But he says Joe Fashanu or Brock Bowers will be a Charger. And I think he's calling out his future draft picks for the Chargers. He's already started putting that out there into the world. Hey, these are your guys.
Brock Bowers would not be a bad pick there. I like Brock Bowers coming into this draft.
I like it. I have not been. I never watch college football, so a lot of these people I just don't know. As soon as the Packers get knocked out of the playoffs, which will eventually happen, I'm aware of that. All right, guys, I would be very shocked if we went to the Super Bowl. Very shocked. But as soon as the Packers get knocked out, I'll be jumping in and paying attention all about the draft and who's going to go where, etc. Cannot wait. Waiting word, my guy Matt says memes. This is his first time I think he's ever joined. But he's been a long time subscriber. Appreciate it. Liam says best case Harbaugh, but as time goes on, I'm losing hope. Well, I think the biggest outcome is going to be how this game goes. If they win the Natty, I think he might move on to the NFL. If they lose, I think he might still stick with the Michigan and try to whatever his words, I forget his exact quote was bring respect and etc. back to the organization, or back to the college and football. I think he wins the Natty. I think he's gonna go to the NFL, or he's definitely getting prepared. We know that he's hired an agent, etc., to start fielding those calls for him, etc. As soon as this game is over, I think he's going to figure out what he wants next, and he's going to listen to all options. I'm sure Michigan will want him back. They will not be wanting to move on from him. But any NFL team is going to be looking at those type of guys. All the teams that have already moved on from the head coaches are already reaching out to defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, getting interviews set up already. But I think they're all just waiting to see what happens to Harbaugh and what happens to Belichick. Those are the two biggest dominoes that need to fall before everybody else gets hired. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens to this new head coaching cycle. Vincent, you agree with everything I just said?
I do, man. I'm trying to see how long Harbaugh's been in Michigan. I know AJ would know this answer.
It's
but
been
I'm
since 2017, 2018, I think.
Yeah, I know it's been a few years for sure. I'm just trying to see exactly how much. But yeah, I agree. I think him hiring an agent is probably the best thing he can do because, of course, I feel like Michigan, if he's not on a long-term contract right now with them, I feel like they would want to lock him up. So it's probably going to be best case scenario, whichever one benefits him and his family, because that's ultimately what these guys think about now as coaches. They want to be able to be with their family as much as possible, and college coaches get to do that a little bit more than NFL coaches just because the NFL season is a little bit longer for those playoff implications. But I wouldn't mind seeing another Harbaugh brother in the NFL. Would be cool again to have him there. But if he stays in college, I respect him for that too.
For sure. Waiting word says, I think Harbaugh's new contract says that he cannot go back to the NFL. I do not believe that is true. He is definitely going to be fielding calls from NFL teams this offseason, 100%. Liam says, did y'all see that Arthur Smith is making $17,000 every day for the next 3 years since the Falcons fired him? I had not seen that particular stat, but I'm not surprised. That's what happens with head coaches nowadays with these crazy contracts they get signed to, and it's fully guaranteed. We really should see that about the. We should see that for the players too. I think it's a little unfair that head coaches only get it. But yeah, 17,000. That's really just pocket change from him. He comes from money. I think his dad owns FedEx, and his brother is currently running it or something like that. So one of those two. But yeah, he comes from money. He doesn't need the money. I hope he honestly goes down to a coordinator job. I don't think he's horrible, but definitely he ain't getting any head coaches calls this offseason. He ain't absolutely not. I don't put the full blame on him because he did not have a quarterback with Desmond Ridder or Heineke behind him. There was no consistent quarterback play, so maybe if he had a consistent quarterback, you could see his system work better. But I don't like a lot of decision making he was making over there about how the ball is getting spread around. But we'll leave that for another day. Gabriel Munoz is about to submit my crazy bracket. So let me go ahead and bring up the bracket. And let's get into that type of talk right now. We are doing our third annual NSP playoff bracket. Now I'm going to pull it up right now, and I think I can do it. We'll have to see. Sometimes our streaming platform doesn't like showing certain screens. So let me see.
You got this, Reed. You got this. If not, I'll get it on there too.
Let me see if it did it. Ta-da! Let's go. Okay. Cool.
Ta-da!
Let me zoom in. How does that look, Vince?
I like it. That's
right.
Perfect size right there.
Cool. All right. So this is the third annual NSP playoff bracket. The crowd goes wild. Yes, this is the third time we have done this. Yes, it is about almost. I think it's 2.5 years that we've been doing this podcast now. If I'm not wrong, and this is our third time doing this bracket, third NFL season. But we do this every single year. I forget who won it the first year off the top of my head. I don't remember. I won it last year, so you guys are gonna have to go up against me. But was it in like Pete or something?
No, it was one of my buddies.
It was your buddy?
Back from when I worked at Home Depot.
Yes, Home Depot. Yes.
Yeah.
But this bracket is going to be a good one. So how this bracket works is we've posted it all over social media. If you have not been able to see it or whatever, DM me and I'll send it to you. DM any one of us and we'll send it to you. But how it works, first of all, you got to put your name. All right, that's number one. That's question number one. Okay, what is your name? All right, don't forget that. But after that, you are going to go from the Texans, Browns, Chiefs, Dolphins, the Bills and Steelers, the Buccaneers, Eagles, Lions and Rams, Cowboys and Packers, and you're going to pick who you think is going to. Let me answer this question real quick. Where do I submit? Send it to any one of us, Liam. I believe you are definitely in the Discord. Yes, I've seen you in there. You are one of our avid responders in there. So go ahead and DM us. DM either myself, AJ, or Vince. I think they're gonna send AJ and Vince are gonna send them to me just so one of us can have all the brackets all at one place. But DM any one of us. Send us your brackets. All you gotta do is over each spot put who you think is gonna advance from the previous round, and make sure you put highest seeding versus lowest seeding. Okay, like if let's say that's a crazy scenario. The Packers advance, and then the Eagles advance, and then the Rams advance. Okay, crazy, all upsets. Crazy. So that means the Niners will face the Packers, and the Eagles will face the Rams. Okay, so it's the lowest seeding versus the highest seeding, and then the other two teams basically. So make sure you do pay attention to that. We will be checking your bracket to make sure it's legitimate. If you do not do that, we'll correct you. Say, hey, that's not like the actual matchup, because you will miss out on potential points, and you want to be the big winner of this bracket because the grand prize. Can I get a drum roll, Vince?
Let me see if you can hear it.
I cannot hear it. That is rough.
Sorry.
Okay, so the grand prize of the NSP playoff bracket, third annual, is going to be NSP merch. All right, so you're gonna get a hat with NSP's cool logo, and then you're gonna get a shirt with NSP's cool logo. All right. Now, some of you may be going, Reed, where's the signed autographed playoff or like memorabilia of players jersey? Guys, okay, listen. In the first year of this podcast, we blew the budget. Okay, we blew the budget. The stockholders were furious with us, and in the second year of NSP, we blew the budget again. Okay, we are definitely over budget right now with how much we have put into this podcast with our personal time, our money, etc.
We are like the New Orleans Saints cap
Yes.
situation at this point.
Yes, and we got to restructure some things. So, in my opinion, this is still a really cool reward, in my opinion, for the first place prize. It's one of these types of cool hats right there. It's a little bit different. This is like our first generation one. And then a cool shirt also with NSP. So we'll be sending that to the winner of whoever has the most points. And guess what? I'm going to beat all of you because I'm better at football than you. And I'm going to get that stuff, okay? Just like I won it last year, okay? Liam says, just to clarify, winners of 4th seed and 5th seed matchups plays the 1st seed. So...
No, it's just the lowest. So like Reed had just said, if the Packers win, they're the 7th seed. So they would automatically play the 1st seed, which is the 49ers, because they are the lowest seed to advance. So if maybe, let's say the Cowboys win and the Rams win, then the Rams are the lowest seed because they're the 6th seed. But let's say the Lions and Cowboys win, then whoever wins from the Buccaneers and Eagles game, then they do play the 49ers. So it's just lowest seed, lowest seed.
Yeah, biggest way I always remember it. Just take their 4 teams that you say are gonna be advancing. Obviously, Niners, Ravens had to be the first of those for this first row of games, and you just take the highest. I guess one is the lowest number. In this case, it's the highest, and you take the lowest number, which is 7 or whichever, and you take those teams, put them against each other, and then after that, just the other 2 teams. And then once you get past the divisional round, it's just whoever's left. So you just really got to remember it for that first round of who advances. But that's the easiest way to remember it. If you gotta ask more, go ahead and DM us. Say, hey, these are our 4 people, who goes where, and we'll tell you what the matchups are. But yeah, so. The biggest, after you do all that, make sure you put a tiebreaker in the bottom right. As you can see, tiebreaker, predict total points scored in the Super Bowl. So what happens if, hey, let's say I get every single one of these right. I'm perfect. I only missed one last year. And Liam also gets every single one right. Okay, we tied somehow. Crazy. Our tiebreaker would be whoever gets closest to the total amount of points scored in the Super Bowl. So let's say it's the Ravens and Niners in the Super Bowl, and the final score was 21-20, and that would mean the total points is 41. So whoever's closer to 41 is the winner of that of the brackets. Hope that makes sense to everybody. But the biggest thing, you got to submit these before the first playoff game, right? I was going to put a deadline of Friday midnight, but I was like, you know what? I'll be courteous, be nice to everybody. You have until, I think the first game's at like 3 or something, or I believe on Saturday.
Yeah, on Saturday, yeah.
Yes, so you have to submit it before that first game. As soon as that ball kicks off, it is done. Nobody is allowed to input more brackets. The voting is closed. Stop the vote, okay? Stop the vote. That is the end of it. So make sure you guys do this. It is a free thing to enter. We're not charging you $5 or something to enter this bracket. And if you end up winning, one, you get bragging rights of saying, hey, I'm smarter of everybody on NSP. But also you get 2 cool free NSP merch for you guys. It's going to be a blast. And I'm super excited. As the reigning champ from last year, I feel good. Anything else?
Reed. It was a fluke.
Hey, I was spot on, right? And in my heart, I knew that the Niners were going to lose the Eagles, but AJ, he was just speaking so highly about the Niners. He confused me, and I picked the Niners to go to the Super Bowl. And that was the only one I got wrong. Everything else was perfect on my bracket. I predicted the Jaguars set. I predicted everything. But anything that I miss out on explaining this bracket, Vince?
No, man, you did it perfectly well. Of course, just put your Super Bowl champ right there in the bottom middle. And then, of course, as Reed said, on the bottom right, just make sure you do your tiebreaker. That's the thing that people always mess up on. So we will send it back to you if you do not do that.
Hey, and this is us about making sure that you win, all right? We want to give you the best opportunity. We're not just going to take your bracket and be like, look at this idiot or whatever. We're help you with it, all right? But so that is our third annual NSP playoff bracket, and I'm super excited about it. We were questioning if we should do it. I was like, we have to do it. It is one of the funnest things, in my opinion, that we do on this channel. It's like a March Madness bracket, but obviously March Madness bracket is just like 64 teams, and it's crazy. Right.
That one's so hard to predict.
I don't know how. I don't even know where to start on that thing. I'm just like, I guess this. I don't know. How am I supposed to predict upsets? I have no idea. But that is our playoff bracket, and I'm super pumped about it. But Vince, I want to pass on the mic to you to talk about everybody's saddest subject. Every year we have to do this, and it is Black Monday of coaches being fired. And we've had a pretty quiet Black Monday so far, but that's because 3 head coaches got fired in midseason.
They got canned early on.
So I'm going to pass the mic on to you, Vince, and go ahead and break it down. What has happened on this year's Black Monday?
Sounds good, guys. Sounds good. All right, I'll lead off with a fun fact here. My fun fact of the day for Black Monday. Yes, Black Monday. 11 years already. There has been 5 head coaches fired every single season in the NFL. So, I mean, we're going on the carousel for 11 years now. Last year, I'll go in order. It was Cliff Kingsbury, Lovie Smith, Nathaniel Hackett, Frank Reich, and Matt Rule. Out of those 5, only one guy got a head coaching job again. That was Frank Reich. And he got canned again this year. It was a one and done. I mean, horrible.
He's
sucks.
Rolling money.
Yeah, he is rolling. Yeah, he's got 2 contracts that he's still getting money from probably. But this year, of course, everybody knows Josh McDaniels was the first guy canned. And that was like way before even the middle of the season. I mean, it was just a horrible job there. Antonio Pierce is the interim coach there. Hopefully he can retain the job because a lot of the players will want him to be the head coach next year. So that would be really cool to see. But after that, I believe it was Frank Reich that was next. And then I believe it was Brandon Staley that was next back in like middle December. And then, of course, Ron Rivera was told that he was going to get fired at the end of the season, got fired. Arthur Smith was the last one that was fired. And he had probably the best reactions after the game. He's just going off against who are they playing? The Saints.
It was the Saints.
Right? No, yeah. I mean, it was just hilarious. The guy knew he was getting fired. It just added salt to the wounds. He was already pissed. It was all in the air. So that's about it for the coaches that have been fired so far. We're predicting there's going to probably be at least 2 more. And those 2 guys will probably be from these 3. And that is going to be either Bill Belichick with the Patriots. That's one of my predictions. That I
hope it's not firing. It's a mutual parting of ways. I hope that's what they call it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I believe that is what they will call it. Bill Belichick will get to do whatever he wants. Like, you know, he's basically the GOD over there in Foxborough. So Bill Belichick will definitely get the parting that he is wanting on his terms, as well as whatever Kraft wants there too. And then 2 other guys, head coaches that might get fired is, of course, Matt Eberflus with the Bears. His is up in the air after, you know, the rocky season that they had and the rocky seasons that they've had before. Reed, I know you for sure think this guy should be fired. I think maybe he should get 1 more year, give him some of these draft picks that they're about to get. And I believe they could become a better team, whether that's a new quarterback or just a lot more weapons for Justin Fields.
I believe he should be demoted to defensive coordinator.
Demoted. Oh, okay.
He's a
I
good
think that
defense
would be pretty
coordinator.
nice. I think that would be pretty nice. And then lastly, my head coach, Pete Carroll, there's talks about that in Seattle, but so far it does not look like they're leaning towards that. It looks like they're thinking of other coaches, such as offensive coordinator, maybe Clint Hurt as their defensive coordinator, but I don't think it'll go all the way to the top there with the head coach of Pete Carroll. So that one is probably less than 25% likely to happen, but you never know. But yeah, that's Black Monday for you guys. Hopefully, we'll have some more as the week goes along.
Hopefully.
There could be
Jeez.
more coaches. I think there should be more coaches this year that get fired. I feel like it was a lot of the matchups are getting tougher. All the teams in the NFL are getting a little bit more evened out. A lot of these injuries help with that. So I mean, I think there are coaches out there that just did a horrible job keeping up with these injuries as well as drafting. So we'll see. We'll see.
Nice. I like it, Vince. And yeah, I definitely think Eva Cruz, I don't think he's going to get fired. I think they roll with him again another year. I don't know if it's the right decision or not. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I think he's good on the defensive side, but they got to start doing something on that offense. They've put there's still the question of what you do with Fields, and Gabriel Munoz is in the chat saying Fields to the Pats. I don't know if that solves all your problems, Gabriel. I think he would get destroyed out there.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. That one's a little crazy, far fetched for me. But yeah, I'm 50-50 on Eberflus. There's definitely bright spots. They turned the season around. I think they were like 1-6 or something like that, and they ended up going 8-9, which is pretty dang good in my opinion. Or was it 8? I think it was 7.
I think they went 8-9. I believe.
Was it 8-9?
I believe so because they were one game behind the Packers.
Maybe whatever. Well, they were close. They even had a chance for playoffs at the end. If the few more teams had ended up losing, I don't think you call it quits on Eberflus yet. But also, it's like, do you roll with it again and hope he gets better, and delay the inevitable? There's a lot of questions you have to answer on the Bears, and I would love to see just a look in on what they're thinking over there. AJ, what are your thoughts of the Bears and what they should do with their head coach and Justin Fields? Because it's up in the air. I feel like even the fan base is 50-50. Some, like, they're putting like little picket signs on their lawn saying "Keep Fields," we love Fields, etc. And then there's some other ones who are like, hey, bring me Caleb Williams. And I know how you feel about Caleb Williams, so maybe we won't talk about him. But there's other quarterbacks in the draft who could be guys in the NFL.
I feel like the Bears head coach right now is a dead man walking. He's not going to have a future in the NFL. He's not going to be a head coach much longer. And I feel like the Bears organization, they should keep on doing what they've been doing and totally ignore the fans. I mean, the fans, they want Justin Fields because, hey, he's a name. He looks good. He has spurts, right? But you're just looking for the downfall for the rest of your franchise. And then what? And then the head coach can get fired again because Justin Fields is not panning out. He's a decent quarterback. Is he a franchise quarterback? I don't think he's there yet. Do I think Caleb Williams is a franchise quarterback? No, I don't think so. You guys already know this from me. I think they should do something similar to what the Washington Commanders are doing. I don't totally agree with what they're doing, but I mean, it's something that a franchise like Chicago needs to do because of the drought that they've had for so long, is to go out there, find outside help, to find and help recruit a good 5-star coach out there that would help rebuild, and someone who has experience, but not too much experience, someone who has a lot of potential, not in the old school ways, because the old school way just doesn't work anymore. And I got a lot of good coaching candidates, and one of the coaches from Seattle I have is one of them, but you can't listen to the fans. I think Justin Fields will be the downfall. I feel bad for the head coach because there's nothing that he could do is right. You keep Justin Fields, you lose your job. You get rid of Justin Fields, you lose your job. There's nothing that he could do over there to keep his job. He's going to save his job at least one more season to keeping Fields. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a mess over there. They completely have to rebuild. And I'm talking like ownership. get your fingers out of the cookie jar, and you got to start with the GM and coach, not just the coach. It's just been the same story, different year for the past. I don't know how long has it been now.
They had a good year in 2018, 2019, where they had like 11, 10 wins. But since then, it's been really before that and after that, it's been really bad.
Yeah, and that 1 year is just not enough for me. And then 2018, that's still a long time ago.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
we're in 2024 now. You know,
Yep.
we're
I
here.
know.
It's crazy. I used to think like
Crazy.
2018 wasn't that bad, and then I saw a movie the other day from 2016, and I was just like, "Holy crap,
Yeah.
this is bad."
Liam says, AJ, how about that run game, baby? He's I think he's a Blue fan. He said earlier, it says go Blue, baby. So I assume he's a Michigan
Nice.
fan. He says, Devon Edwards is a dog. 3 carries, 93 yards, and 2 TDs. How are you feeling, AJ, as a Michigan fan? Obviously, let's go ahead and divert a little bit to college football because that is like the game going on right now. But how are you feeling as a Michigan fan? Had a hot start. I think it's the last time I saw it was still 17-3. So
It's
I think you guys
17-10 right now.
17-10. So you guys are kind of cooling off a little bit, but a hot start. How are you feeling?
Oh man, I'm getting some flashbacks to when Coach Harbaugh was the Niners coach and the way he runs things. And I absolutely love it. I think he's one of the greatest head coaches out there. Obviously, he was done wrong by the Niners organization at the time, and I really do hope that he stays with Michigan. I think any team will be very fortunate to have a coach like that. But I am kind of nervous, right? With the way Harbaugh plays, he needs to I feel like his forte is passive aggressive. Right, you're aggressive, but not too much. You still want to play passive to where you're playing a little bit safe. Right now, Washington can't stop the run. We need to keep on feeding Edwards, keep on feeding Blake Corum, and just shoving it down their throats and not letting them breathe. Don't pick up the foot, but at the same time, don't be going for it on 4th down when you're up by 14 points. You know, I like the aggressiveness, but if you're gonna go for it on 4th and short, you got to run the ball. You can't put the ball in McCarthy's hands. Love the kid, but I don't think he's just there yet. But of course, you guys know how I am. I'm freaking out about the game. It's 17-10 now, going into the half. Washington gets the ball back. But I'm excited. I think we're playing very well. We just got to clean a few things up in our secondary, and I mean, we'll get there. So, yeah.
Nice. We'll get him out of here in a second, dude. Don't you worry. I forget how do we get rid of comments on? Oh, I can't.
That's on Twitch.
Yeah, I
have
can't do it
to-
on
yeah.
Twitch
Yeah.
from here. Okay, gotcha. We'll get rid of them. Don't you worry, Noob Chun. But let's go ahead and go back into the NFL because we are an NFL show. Maybe one day we'll launch NSP collegiate football or something like that. Maybe working on the name. We'll see. One day. But Vincent, we're going to continue on this Black Monday. You brought up Bill Belichick. That is a potential head coach firing or parting of ways. Now, we've been talking about this, I feel like, since the first few games at the beginning of the season, like, hey, I think this might be the end of the Bill Belichick era. And this might be Robert Kraft may have to move on. Or maybe, hey, Bill Belichick just wants to move on from the Patriots. But it has not been pretty this year. And you can blame a lot of things maybe on the quarterbacks that they have and what he's working with, or just the terrible picks that he has made and on the offense and put him in this position. But the Patriots have a huge decision to make, and that's either to keep on rolling with Bill Belichick as the head coach and GM and see if he can turn things around next year, to either keep him as head coach and bring a guy in for or girl, it's 2024, for the GM position, and take that thing away from Bill Belichick. Or the third option is for a parting of ways, firing, whatever you want to call it, and move on from Bill Belichick. Now, I want all 3 of us to answer this. What we think is the most likely to happen, where do we think is going to happen out of those 3 options with the Patriots? It's the biggest, I think it's the biggest story right now, other than obviously the playoffs and what's going on there, of what is going to happen to Bill Belichick. He is the most decorated head coach of all time. Some people call him the greatest head coach of all time. To be determined. We'll see. But what is going to happen? In my opinion, and I'll let you guys follow me, I think he's going to get fired. I think he's going to get let go. I think they're going to part ways. I just don't see how Bill Belichick, with all his knowledge and etc. about the sport, and I still believe he has what it takes to win in this league. I don't think he can turn the Patriots around in time for this to actually continue to make sense. I think we have to move forward. The Patriots to move forward without him, and Bill needs to go to a new head team, be a head coach of a new team. You have anything to say, AJ? You're making some over there.
I'm assuming he saw the comment because I was waiting for him to see the comment.
You're not going
I'm over here on. I was trying to fix these things on Twitch, and then I got a notification on Discord. Liam just sent me his bracket.
Oh no!
I'm going to tell you one thing, Liam. You already lost. Here,
I'm looking at it.
If you're going to send this type of bracket, you're not going to send that one to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But just to help you out, you're going to have to redo it because that bracket would be invalid.
It would be invalid.
The 49ers will have to face the lowest seed possible. So
we told you, Liam.
Right there next to the team names, you're going to have their numbers or seeding. So if the Packers do beat the Cowboys, they will go to San Francisco.
Yep.
So the lowest seed possible will face the number 1 seed, and then the second highest seed will face the second lowest seed available.
He says, "Bro, I'm dumb. Holy, my bad."
Yeah, hey, I also see that you picked the Ravens instead of the 49ers.
I see him taking us all the way to the NFC Championship. I love that from you, Liam. But I don't know if we get past the Niners in the divisional round if we do beat the Cowboys.
This is going to be the biggest scripted playoff ever.
It's scripted? What's going to happen?
I mean, look what's going on. You have Tyreek Hill going back to the Chiefs. You have
dude, it's crazy.
Look at the Super Bowl. Everyone's predicting the Niners and the Ravens, right? The Super Bowl colors and all that. And when you really look at it, it's a rematch, dude. They teed it up this season. They had the Ravens beat out the 49ers pretty damn clean, right? So they're like, we want to see this matchup again. Rematch, Super Bowl rematch. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, what else do you want here? Mike McCarthy going up against the Packers? Oh, dude, come on! It's going to be great.
It's true. It's so crazy how all the matchups just collided to be some of the biggest headlines of the past few years.
Guys, you guys are being silly. Okay, the NFL has learned from years of experience of how to make a storyline out of any game for the playoffs. All right, they're masterful of it. Okay, no matter how the playoff seeding would have worked, they would have found a like blockbuster type of storyline. Okay, they're masters of telling stories. It is what do they do? Okay.
Yeah, but now they have like 5 massive stories.
Listen,
there's only 6 games.
Listen. They're masters of telling stories. Okay, they would have teed it up no matter what. All right?
I mean, let's go through it. I think the only game here that doesn't have implications is the Bills and Steelers. But the Texans versus Browns, that goes Deshaun Watson goes back, plays the Texans at his home stadium that used to be his, NRG, basically where this national championship game is happening right now. Deshaun Watson goes back and possibly plays the Texans if he's healthy. We don't know, but Joe Flacco will be there. So I mean that one's just a crazy game. But then we go to the Chiefs and Dolphins. AJ already said this. Tyreek Hill goes back home. It has happened where they faced off before, but this one he's actually going home. Bills and Steelers, I don't really know if there's anything there that there's a story, but there probably will be a story made up. And then the Buccaneers, Eagles, I don't think there's a story there either. Lions and Rams, Matthew Stafford, of course. That's
a cool storyline there.
It's a cool storyline. And then the Cowboys and Packers is McCarthy. That one's not so cool, but it's still cool.
It's cool.
It's just crazy.
Oh, I'm so bummed I can't go to that game. I'm so bummed. I have work that day. We have a stupid bridal showcase that I have to go to. I never have to work Sundays. The one Sunday that the Packers play in Dallas, I had to work. I'm so bummed out. I'm bummed out.
I do want to highlight real quick that Eric is a first-time chat member here on
Hey.
Twitch. So thank you so much, Eric, for joining us here at NSP Football Talk, which stands for Not So Pro. If you're feeling generous, hit that follow button or head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. We are trying to grow here.
Nice.
Of course,
Browns
we got
beating the
Bailey.
Ravens. I definitely think it could happen. If there's one team I think that can
We
beat,
talked about that,
yeah. There's two teams I think can beat the Ravens, and that's either going to be the Bills because I think they're hot right now, or the Browns because they have such a good defense. I think either one of those teams can beat them. Anybody else gets washed from them. Yeah,
Not bad. And Big E says that that's him on Twitch too. So thank you, man. You're
Nice.
double dipping. We love it.
I love
Oh,
it.
sweet.
We love it. We got Brandon coming in here. He says, "How y'all feel about the Texans winning?"
We're happy on it.
I love it. I
Yeah.
think it's awesome.
I could definitely see it. I
Oh,
could definitely see them.
about them winning.
Hey, D'Amico Ryan,
like
Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
He's winning Coach of the Year.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely say that.
I really wanted Matt LaFleur to win it because moving on from Rodgers, it's exceeding everybody's expectations. But D'Amico Ryans has got it in the bag. Being a first-year head coach with a first-year quarterback rookie, like it has to go to him. It has to.
Ooh, Liam posted the new one.
Liam just fixed it. Yep. And
Okay.
he still has the Ravens winning Super Bowl.
Whoa.
I really don't know why.
I can't believe you have us getting bounced in the divisional round, Liam. I cannot believe this. And you've also got the Niners as the AFC Championship winner. Yeah, I think you got to switch those around. That you just lost it on 30 points right there, potentially.
This is true. Hi, Liam. Look at the colors, Liam. Look at the colors.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Unless you're colorblind, then tell us and we'll make a new bracket for
Yeah.
you.
The new Liam. I like your. It's a good bracket, Liam. It's a good bracket. You gotta put the Niners in the blue though. Just saying. All right, so I think we're done with Black Monday. It's going to be exciting. We'll continue talking about this of who gets hired where, and the potential other firings that may happen throughout the week, and we'll keep you guys updated as much as possible. But we're going to go into what I think is the funniest, the best storyline coming out of this past Sunday. And as our guy, Jameis Winston, this is – I really wish he was a starter somewhere so we could get more out of this guy. I have loved this guy for forever. I feel like from when he plays, he's so entertaining. You know he's going to throw 2 to 3 picks, but he's going to throw a few touchdowns to go with it and a few long bombs to go with it. All right, he keeps the game exciting, and he's a character with how do we do the W from? It's like this. From that to look at your buddy, and he's like. To him dancing in the locker room on one leg with crutches. You guys remember that one?
I remember that.
And now, probably the most crazy, most outrageous thing he has ever done, which potentially may get him cut from the Saints. He has him as a collective team, but he was the quarterback, so he led it, in my opinion. Decided to fake a victory, kneel down on the 1-yard line, and give it to Jamal Williams to get his first touchdown of the year. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. I feel like AJ, from what his reactions are, I feel like I definitely know what his reaction is. I think it's a little disrespectful, kind of as like a sportsmanship way, but I'm going to say, like, hey, I mean, you scored 41 points already. Like, it's already been disrespectful. Sorry, not sorry. But the disrespectful part, I think, in my opinion, and he did say he apologized to Dennis Allen, but for me, it's going against your head coach, what he says, what he has play called. It's a little bit different if you want to like alter the play call, but to completely do that is outrageous. It is a mutiny against your head coach. But I kind of loved it, Hey, we made a team. We made a decision as a team. as a collective, and we just decided to run it. I kind of love it, but also hate it at the same time. AJ, I'm going to hand the mic off to you because I know you got some strong feelings here.
I do have some strong feelings, and you all know I cannot stand Jameis Winston. And you're going to say he's going to throw a lot of touchdowns for a lot of interceptions. He is a 50-50 ratio here, okay? But that is extremely disrespectful. He should get cut from the team. He should never be a quarterback in the NFL ever again. That coach needs to do something. If not, he's going to get walked over this whole career, and that's exactly what's going to happen. That dude does not look like a confident head coach. He's going to save his job for one more season just because he's fresh, but he's not going to be there long. Jameis Winston, I see so many point of views. I see people come off of TikTok, so I feel like I have a voice, right? So people on TikTok, they're like, I totally disagree. Jameis Winston got the team together. They got a touchdown. He should not be cut. For those of y'all saying he should be cut, you guys don't know how it is. Okay, well, you don't know how it is either, but I don't either because I'm not a coach. I'm not a player. I've never been a player in the professional level, right? But then you watch other people who actually know a damn of what they're talking about, like Shannon Sharp, right? He comes out there and says this guy needs to get cut. That's disrespectful. You don't do that. Hey, I get it. The team wants to get James Williams a touchdown. That's cool. That's dandy. Yay. Let's all hold hands. Let's freaking do it. Yeah, why not? Because he didn't get a touchdown all season long. Let's all feel bad for him. But hey, Jameis, if you want to be a true leader, you just broke the unwritten rule, right? You're in victory formation. So what's the other team going? One, you're going to hurt somebody in the last freaking play of the season. You're going to hurt somebody because your offense is going all out against a defense that's standing straight up, right? And two, when it's victory formation, doesn't matter what level, like, hey, don't do anything stupid, right? If you do something stupid, some shit's going to go down. Check. At least this is the only way you could save your job here is if you check out a victory formation and show that you're going to run a play. You could run it. I don't care. If you want to do it as a team collectively, cool. I think the coach will have somewhat of respect doing that instead of doing a fake victory formation. This is never going to happen again in the history of the NFL, a fake victory formation. That was just garbage. I think it was childish, very immature, and that dude is just ridiculous. He's a clown. He's a clown. That's what he is.
He's a funny clown.
That's what clowns are. They're funny, right? We're all laughing here. We're all laughing.
Vincent, what are your takes on it?
I agree half and half here. I'm just kind of like in the middle with it. I definitely agree with them being in the victory formation because I was not watching the end of that game because I didn't want to. It was a killing. Like we knew the Saints were gonna win. But when I saw the video of them in victory formation, I was like, bro, I was like, that's the worst way to score. Like these guys are not. I'm not going to say they weren't ready because you should always be ready on every single play. But, I mean, the score was already the way it was. These guys were standing basically straight up. I mean, it was just disrespectful, in my opinion, to see that they collectively as a team said, you know what, this team's not ready. Let's just get this guy another touchdown. The scores are already 41 to, what was it, 17, 16? I don't remember. But it was still something that was just like, you don't got to do that. Jamal Williams will survive without scoring a touchdown for the Saints. I mean, he had freaking almost, how many was it last season?
Yeah,
almost
17.
17. Yeah, I mean, that was a bunch. So it just wasn't needed. I feel like Jameis Winston shouldn't get fired for it, especially if his guys are going to back him up saying like, hey, we all said we should do this. It wasn't just Jameis Winston saying like, we're going to do this for Jamal. Like if everybody was in on it, I mean, everybody needs to be reprimanded there. And if Jameis Winston gets fired because he was the ringleader there, he gets fired. But I think he'll find another job in the NFL as a backup. I think his starting days are over, though. But he definitely is funny. I will say that guy gives good content for the NFL. But he's just not a top-tier player anymore. So I wouldn't want to see him in the starting job.
All right, I'm going to jump to the comments and I'm going to say something real quick. Whoa, okay, what happened here? All right. Liam says, I'm going to lose my mind because he can't get his playoff bracket right. He says, third time's the charm. Ravens still on top. You do have a legitimate bracket here. I will accept this unless you want to change it before Saturday. What did you say, AJ?
It's bootleg. Look how light the background is. It's bootleg. That's not the one I made.
Oh,
Unacceptable. You can't accept it. Sorry.
Why does it look different, Liam?
Yeah, Liam, why
I
does it look
know.
different?
That is weird.
I don't know
I
what
guess
he
third
did.
time's not the charm, huh?
I'll set to Liam, okay? He says Winston isn't a system quarterback like Purdy, though. Face turquoise covering eyes.
This guy's just after me, dude. He is just after me. I
He
hope
really is.
that we're talking about the Chargers. I hope the Chargers go out
Whoa.
there and get another defensive-minded coach, and I hope they trade Herbert to get a first-round pick, get the biggest bust, get Jameis Winston as their backup, and Jameis Winston's now your new quarterback. And Derek, I mean, I'm still thinking about the Titans, damn it.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go watch the game.
All right.
Go Blue.
Okay. Last thing I'll say about Jameis Winston. If you gotta leave, that's okay, EJ. But what do you do if you're Dennis Allen and you say, Jameis Winston, you're cut, and then one by one around the locker room, some guy stands up. He goes, "I'm Spartacus," and another guy stands up. He goes, "I'm Spartacus. I'm Jameis Winston." What do you do? What do you do? Like, if he leaves, I leave. What do you do?
Dude, you brought back that memory from way in the back of my mind. I can't. I'm Spartacus. That's hilarious. But I mean, honestly, I don't think that will happen. I definitely could see a world where Jameis Winston still is the backup quarterback there for the Saints. But I don't think he's going to be too hurt by it. If he gets cut, he'll be like, well, on to the next, because that's what he's been doing the past couple of years. But yeah, I definitely I don't think his teammates would do that. I don't feel like anybody wants to get reprimanded.
Some people have stuck up for him on Twitter, saying, "Hey, we stand by," or something along those lines. The last thing I'll say on it, and this is the last one, I'll say that, hey, if he doesn't get cut or whatever, there needs to be some type of reprimanded, in my opinion, whether that's everybody who was on that field, not just Jameis, because if they are saying it was a collective decision, then I don't think it should just be Jameis. There should either be some type of fine, or maybe everybody gets fined, and Jameis, since he was the quarterback, he is the leader. He got the call, maybe he gets suspended for a couple games next season. Something like that. At the bare minimum, I think that has to be happen. Whether you like his decision or not, or whether you think it was disrespectful or not, at the end of the day, he went against his head coach on the football field. I don't think that's okay, and I think there should be some type of reparation for that, whether it's getting cut or getting suspended at the very least. I think that should be just bare minimum. Liam says still better than Purdy, though, talking about Winston or whoever, Easton Stick. LOL, Easton Stick is greater than Purdy. AJ says this guy is high. Liam says I gotta go watch the end of the game. See you, boys. Hey, best of luck to Michigan. Hope you guys the best, and hey, I hope Harbaugh wins one. That would be really cool for him, honestly. I'll root for Michigan just for Harbaugh because I respect him a lot as a head coach. All right, so yeah, I think we've talked all Jameis Winston we can until the next time he does something hilarious. Until then, we'll be a little quiet about it. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about playoffs. There's some really juicy options out there. We won't talk about this for too long because there is other videos that we will talk about the playoffs, etc. But I'm really excited for these playoffs, and I'm just going to bring up our bracket just for the sake of it, and we'll just promote our bracket. Let's go ahead and start from the AFC side and work our way down, and then we'll go to the NFC. Vincent, Texans and Browns. Now, the Texans are a team I did not expect to be here, and I didn't expect the Browns to be here either with the amount of injuries they've had. We won't give our winners yet because we obviously do that with our bats video. But how are we feeling about this game? I mean, I feel decent about the Texans being able to upset the Browns, but that defense is stout. They are good.
Those are my thoughts too. I think this game could go 50-50. If CJ Stroud is playing out of his mind and so is Nico Collins, I definitely think the Texans have a good chance here with staying up with the Browns because I definitely believe they can score more points than them. But Joe Flacco is also playing really well, and he's got that defense to help him out, even if he doesn't have the best of games. But CJ Stroud also hasn't been in the playoffs, so we don't know how he's going to be under the big lights of the playoff caliber, competition. But Joe Flacco hasn't been there in a while either, so it's still up in the air for me on this pick. I have not inputted my bracket yet. I don't think Reed has either.
I'm not.
So
I'm doing mine tomorrow.
still have a lot of research to do on these teams. I don't know. This one's a throw up type of game for me, but should be good.
I like it. All right. Nets is Chiefs and Dolphins. Dolphins are one of the super hot teams. They have a high-powered offense, have a lot of boomer bust, but they're dealing with a lot of different injuries. Whether they're out for the year or Waddle hopefully comes back, etc. Hopefully Mostert is able to come back. And then you go on the other side, the Chiefs. It is at Chiefs Kingdom in Kansas City, but I don't know what to think about this team. That offense is just not the same that we've seen. Maybe the playoff magic and the ref magic that Mahomes gets in the playoffs comes into play here. But I don't know how I feel about either of these two winning. I really don't feel strongly about this game either way. How are you feeling?
Yeah, these are probably two of the teams that have lost the most games in the AFC within this past last 6 weeks. The Chiefs have looked horrible. I mean, they barely won this past week by 1 point. Their wins earlier in this 6 week stretch also are not very impressive, and their losses are definitely horrible. But so are the Dolphins. The Dolphins have been barely scraping by. Yes, they have Achan. Yes, they have Mostert, who's most likely going to be healthy for that game. But Tua does not look like he is primed and ready for a playoff game. And I feel like Patrick Mahomes might be. And of course, the Chiefs know Tyreek Hill as well as anybody else in the NFL because they used to have him. They know how to cover this guy. They know what type of schemes that are going to happen. But the Dolphins are just very tricky as well on offense. So we don't know how this game will turn out. I'll have like a little, I guess, predecessor for who I think I'm going to pick here. I think I might go with the team with the smarter offense as of now, and I think that's the Dolphins. So this could be an upset for me, but I still have to think about it.
It would be crazy to watch the Chiefs after winning the Super Bowl last year to get bounced in the first round. That would be crazy, but it could definitely happen also. Moving down, Bills and Steelers. I think this was, in my opinion, a very obvious game what should happen. But the problem with the Bills, they often play down to the level of their opponents. That's my problem with the Bills. Now the Steelers, I kind of feel like they're the Packers, both the 7th seed, have no real right to be here because they haven't. And at certain points of the season, they have looked really, really bad. But they fought tooth and nail and somehow made it all the way to the 7th seed, and they're in the playoffs now. But the Steelers, they just lost TJ Watt. It's not like something that's going to take him out for months, but it is definitely going to take him out of this next game. I would be absolutely shocked and floored if he was able to play. So, in my opinion, it has to be Bills here. I would be shocked if they lost.
Yeah, man, especially since the Steelers don't know exactly their quarterback situation. I definitely don't think they're going to play Pickett, but do we think Rudolph is the best guy to go into the playoffs with? I don't know. But that run game has been great. So if the Bills can stop the run game, I definitely think the Steelers make this a game. They do have a good defense even without TJ Watt, and Josh Allen loves to throw picks and lose the football. But if the Steelers can't contain him, just like the Dolphins couldn't contain him this past week, I think definitely the Bills are the definite pick here. But you never know. Any given Sunday, the Steelers definitely play up to their competition, and the Bills definitely play down to their competition. So I definitely think this game will be interesting.
For sure. Now we're going to move on to the NFC, and we'll start with the Bucks and Eagles. Now, it was maybe like a month ago or so where the Eagles were 10-1, And if you told me back then that I would have to question this game and who's going to win, I'll call you dumb. I'll call you stupid. Of course the Eagles are going to win. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. But ever since Big Dom was taken off the sidelines, this team has not been the same. And you may say, Reed, that's the most ludicrous accusation to say Big Dom is responsible. Who else could be responsible for all this other than Big Dom? It is all his fault for touching Greenlaw that this team has not been the same. Okay? Now, I don't know if he deserves a raise or he needs to have a talking to about that, because this is all his fault. AJ, don't you mean don't start? This is all Big Dom's fault for not being on the field, okay? He was a much bigger importance to that game and the organization than Greenlaw ever was or ever will be, okay? All right, Big Dom is the heart and soul of the Eagles. And without him on that sideline, I just don't know if they can win another game. I think I have to, I'm seriously considering that the Buccaneers could win this. They are playing at home. They will have home field advantage. They will not have to go to Philly and deal with that Philly crowd. Bucs could definitely win this. Vincent, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I'll definitely say I did not think I was going to see the Buccaneers in the playoffs. So that one is already a shocker to me. But the even bigger shocker was I never thought I was going to see Baker Mayfield in the playoffs. So this one's also has cool implications here. I guess that's going to be the story here. The Eagles are sucking. Buccaneers are looking like they're turning the corner here for possibly, being in the playoffs for the next couple years with the type of squad that they have and who they could draft. But I just don't know. The Eagles, not even the tush push or the brotherly shove, whatever you call it, not even that looks good anymore. It feels like everybody's figuring out the Eagles. Of course, the tush push, brotherly shove works, but how often are the Eagles actually going to be able to use this? Buccaneers have a stout defense as well. They stop the run. I don't know, man. I don't know. And AJ Brown and that entire locker room have just been imploding. So I don't even know about this game. This one is up in the air for me, but I just think it would be bizarre not to see the Eagles advance here. But I have to give the Buccaneers the benefit of the doubt here too. So I got to do a little bit more research and see how this game might shake out. It's a crazy one.
It's going to be an interesting one for sure. Now, this is the storybook, the NFL script writers type of game right here that everybody's saying of Matthew Stafford getting go back to Detroit as the Lions host a playoff game, because how are they hosting a playoff game? They won the NFC North for the first time in 20 plus years, or won a division in the past 20 plus years. Really, really cool. Matthew Stafford gets to go back to the place where he was drafted and won a lot of games, won the hearts of Detroit. I think this is definitely going to be a bittersweet game for the Lions, especially if Matthew Stafford gives them a dagger to their hearts. That's gonna be hard. But also beating the guy who I think kind of sets you up to be there, because I think even though he wasn't part of the Dan Campbell experience or whatever, I do think he helped build a culture up to that point. I think he would have been a great quarterback for Dan Campbell, honestly. I think he's gritty. We've seen him play through injury before. Matthew Stafford, in my opinion, has always been a guy. Kind of derailing from the game here for a little bit, but AJ says, hate that the Rams won a Super Bowl with him. I'm finally glad he's out of my division, and AJ is mad that he is in his division. But the Rams are going to Detroit. Lions are a very hot team. They are a gritty team. They fight hard. I think the Lions should definitely win this. I definitely have my thoughts on Lions winning this. I don't think the Rams can upset them in Detroit, but it is kind of like the story of Detroit to let your fans down in the most worst moments. So I don't know if the worst moment's here or later down the line. We'll have to see.
Yeah, man. I think one of y'all, it was either you or AJ. I think it might have been you, sending that the Lions tickets are like double of any other
Yeah,
playoff game. It's pretty insane. I think it's at was it $610 or
$610 is like
yeah.
how do you get in basically?
Yeah,
Wild.
basically that's like nosebleed. So it's pretty cool. I love the city of Detroit actually getting this shot here. But Matthew Stafford, Kyron Williams, Puka Nakua, Cooper Cup. I mean, they have a stellar offense going in there. And of course, you can't forget about Aaron Donald on the other side. He's going to wreak havoc every time that he is in the playoffs. I mean, the he was this. No, I don't think he was the Super Bowl MVP. Was he when they won the Super Bowl? I cannot remember. But I mean, he was amazing that year. He could still have that type of playoff implication here, getting a few sacks on Jared Goff, who he probably loved to do that in practice whenever he was on the team, because I'm pretty sure he hated Jared Goff, just like me and AG do. But I don't know, man. I definitely think the Rams could sneak a fast one here on the Lions. I wouldn't put it past them to even probably steamroll them. I feel like the Lions, although they have been playing fairly well, I feel like they are not at the caliber of the Rams offense here. So if the Lions cannot stop the Rams offense, I don't see the Lions winning this game.
All right. So moving on to the last game of the wild card weekend, it is the Dallas Cowboys who, as Stephen A. Smith, the guy who is the biggest cowboy hater on planet Earth, has said this is the best chance the Cowboys could to make it to the Super Bowl since 1995. This is the best chance they have. Now, kind of fast forwarding that past this game, unfortunately, the Niners are in the way of their best chance. But right now, in this wildcard weekend, they are going against the team that has beaten them time and time again in the playoffs. Right next to the Niners, because you know us, the Packers and the Niners just love to beat up on the Cowboys in the playoffs. That's what we do. But the Cowboys and Packers are going at each other in Dallas. Packers, how did we get here? We went 9-8. We had parts of the season we were looked really good, then we looked really bad, and then we looked, hey, maybe they could, and then we looked really bad again, and then we come out on the end of the season winning 3. Some of them are a little messy against the Panthers, but overall 3 good games where our definitely, or at least our offense looked very, very good. Now our defense has looked good the past 2 games, but those were against the Vikings, who had 2 backup quarterbacks kind of just play half and half the game. So not a lot to say there. And then this last game was Justin Fields, who that offense was turning, but I think we just have the recipe apparently on how to limit Justin Fields and really stop him. So I can't really say that our defense is going to play like that again. I would personally be shocked. I think the Cowboys are going to put up a lot of points against the Packers. If the Packers want to have any chance in this game, one, Jordan Love needs to take care of the ball. He does have 11 interceptions on the season, but he has been pretty careful with the ball as of late, of the past like 5 or 6 games, I believe. The only real turnover off the top of my head was a fumble they had in this past game. Just unfortunate. The dude ran his helmet straight into the ball. But the Packers, I think we have a chance to steal one. We've never actually lost in AT&T, or I think it's AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World. That is actually Packers World, because we have never lost there. We won a Super Bowl there. We own that stadium, kind of like Ford Field, technically. But the Cowboys play amazing at home. It's going to be an interesting game. The Cowboys should have the edge, but I think the Packers could potentially. It's a long shot. It's like pulling up from half court. You know, we can land one.
Yeah, man, I definitely think it's a possibility you guys have never lost there, but the Cowboys haven't lost there at all this season, and I feel like that gives them the edge here in the playoffs. But playoffs are a different animal. Dak Prescott has not shown that he is a playoff type quarterback yet. Yes, he's very good in the in season. We've said that a couple of times these past like 5 years that he's been in the league. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about this. The Cowboys could end up, pulling a Cowboys type move since they have not been back to the Super Bowl since when did you say 1995? Before we were even born.
They haven't won the Super Bowl since like the 80s, like early
Yeah.
90s. Yeah.
But I mean, it's still quite crazy having the Packers there, who have been a part of some good upsets in the past years. But I don't know. I feel like I still might go with Cowboys here. Might not pick them with a spread that's possibly going to be very high against the Packers. But I definitely think the Cowboys could win this, just having home field advantage, the way their offense has been playing with CeeDee Lamb, and the Packers are having a lot of troubles on defense. So unless the Packers can fix this with Joe Barry there in the next week, I don't think the Packers can win this just with their offense.
We'll have to see. And before we get to the comments, I want to say one last thing. I have spoken with a few Cowboys fans about this game today, and honestly, they're kind of scared. One of them even said that Jordan Love is the last quarterback I wanted to go up against going into the playoffs because he is playing very hot right now. I definitely think we can steal one. It is a long shot, but at the end of the day, I think the Packers are playing with house money. We're just happy to be here. Whatever happens, happens. Let's look forward to the next year, and I think we've accomplished the goal of this year was to figure out and evaluate the team, and I think we have something we can move forward with. AJ Alvarado says Laporta breaks my heart. That I was super bummed about him getting hurt. I hope some like miracle happens with his knee, or I'm pretty sure it was his. What?
They're saying that since it was a minor injury to his knee, that he could possibly play this game.
I think it's Dan Campbell being hopeful, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's him being hopeful. He says it's day to day with the type of injury he had. Of course, they want to be on, the careful side because this is a guy that's going to help them for years and years to come. But the possibility of him playing is there. So hopefully we could see him at least make some appearance in this game.
I think that may potentially be some gamesmanship from Dan Campbell of trying to make the Rams think that Laporta is going to play when in reality he's not. Matt Fleur did it last week with Christian Watson. He knew the whole time Christian Watson wasn't going to probably play, and he made us all believe up till game time that he was going to play. Really rude. But yeah, Laporta breaks my heart not being able to play in this game. Cowboys Bills Super Bowl, Rave says.
Oh, gosh,
that is a brave one to pick. So you're saying the number 1 seeds are not going to make it to the Super Bowl, and the number 2 seeds are. I can kind of see the Bills. I can see the Cowboys. This is a option out there. Everybody wants to go like the easy way and say Ravens 49ers, but it might not be that easy, We'll see.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be a crazy one. I know that for sure. It's going to be a good playoffs. I don't think there's going to be more than 2 games that are blowouts. There could possibly be 2 games that are blowouts, but more than that, I don't think so. I think this is going to be down to the wire type of playoff game. It's going to be great. Great year for football.
For sure. All right. And AJ says Rave is high. Rave says, if anything, it's Bills and Cowboys' last chance to make it, in my opinion. I definitely can see it honestly, with both. Cowboys, I mean, this is a time you have a defense that is pretty dang good. And this is the best Dak has ever looked. Who knows if he's able to carry this into next season. You got to try to capitalize this season and try to make it to a Super Bowl. Bills, I think we kind of said that the Super Bowl window already closed early in the season, and they somehow kind of reopened the window, and they're trying to get through and get through that window for their Super Bowl. But we'll see if they're able to. It's going to be an interesting one. I think on the AFC side, I don't think the Ravens 100% have it. I know people are like crown them as like the number 1 power ranking team or whatever about the Niners, but I'm not fully convinced. I think the Browns or the Bills could upset them. The Texans, Chiefs, Dolphins, Steelers, obviously, I do not think they can upset the Ravens. Browns and Bills could. We'll see. And on the NFC side, I think the Cowboys can upset the Niners. I think that's the only team. I think that's the only team.
Maybe the Rams too, possibly.
I don't think the Rams can. I don't think they have the type of what they. I don't think they have the complete a team to be able to come against the Niners. I don't see that one.
We'll see, man. Playoffs are playoffs. We'll see.
If we end up knocking out the Cowboys, then we had to take down the Niners because then we just knocked out the Cowboys, and who else is going to stop the Niners?
It's true.
It'll be like what's that meme of it's like a big dark overlord with a sword like this, and there's there's the little guy standing right there. That's the Packers against the Niners this year. we used to be the top dog, and now we've gone to the number 7 seed. They're a big evil monster. The Niners are, but yeah, they have a sense of urgency, right, for sure. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end off our stream here. I think Vincent would be okay with that as well. And we're gonna tune in. Everybody, I think, should tune in into this playoff or this national championship. Right now, it's going on between Michigan and Washington. Michigan is up 7, and it's going to be a wild game, in my opinion. Hopefully, I hope it comes down to the wire, because it's already better than last year's national championship. They don't got to do a whole lot to beat that one. Ray says, I like the Rams and Texans at dark horses. We'll see. I don't know how I feel about Rams, and I'm kind of surprised Texans got here.
I definitely don't know how I feel about the Texans. I don't think they could make it past the first round, and if they do, I definitely do not think they can make it past the second round, depending on who they play. But I think them again. It's just they're happy to be here. They have a young crew who they want to give that experience in the playoffs. So it definitely could be a just a good experience,
For sure. Yeah, gain experience for the Texans. Rams, honestly, we're shocked that you're here after everything that you've lost, and you drafted well to get here. You drafted really well with late round picks to get here. Very impressive. I really want to throw Packers in there as a dark horse because how our offense is playing. Our defense is going to get run through, but if we can just outscore everybody, we can do it. We'll see. All right, but that is it, guys. We'll be probably live tomorrow. We haven't decided, but I would imagine we can do something tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in, and we'll be giving you guys some entertainment as this playoff season continues. Regular season is over. Now the playoffs are here. Make sure you turn in also on Thursday our recorded video that we'll release called Bats. And that's where, as we kind of give you our overview of games, but we'll actually give you our picks against the spread on that video. So make sure you guys tune into there. Other than that, thank you guys for always tuning in. And as always, as we say in NSP, keep on grinding.